Alright, I think we all know what a difficulty chart obby is, right? Good. Now, I found this game while searching for some sort of obby to play because I had nothing else to do. Now, the first tower is effortless. Since this is the first tower, I won't talk too much about it because it is so basic. It was just a cakewalk, but somehow I managed to screw it up at the end. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. I think I got too cocky, but it's pretty embarrassing how I failed on the first tower. Come on. Oh, what? No! How did I mess that up? Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I don't know how I managed to do that. Well, at least I figured it out in the end. And I guess we should now talk about the second tower, also known as Very Easy. Similar to Effortless, it was another cakewalk that I completed fairly quickly. May I mention, so far there were 5 interesting things: damage bricks, kill bricks, conveyors, jump pads, and vanishing pads. Now, I actually ended up dying a few times, which I find pretty funny. Especially on Very Easy, isn't it like supposed to be very easy? I think I was just rushing the first few towers because I thought they were gonna be easy. Now, there was this person who was standing still, so I tried teaching them how to do the level, but they ended up just like leaving the game. So yeah. Anyways, I ended up beating Very Easy and headed on to Easy. Easy. I ended up falling like nearly straight away and just standing there in disappointment. Then I continued on. Basically just the same as Effortless and Very Easy. There was like really no difficulty change in my opinion, but it was still pretty fun playing the levels, and they were getting a little bit more interesting with their like patterns and stuff, I guess you could say. The rest of the levels were also pretty easy, but ended up dying another 2 times from what I remember, and I'm pretty disappointed about that, but basically it was just the same as Effortless and Very Easy. Well, I guess that's enough of easy, or talking about the word easy. Let's just head on to medium. Medium. Well, I definitely noticed things getting a little bit more difficult, but still pretty easy to do. The only thing I actually noticed was me dying a lot more, and more like damage and death bricks. So things definitely were getting a bit more difficult as levels progressed, but other than that, it was still pretty simple. I was definitely starting to daydream a bit because I noticed I was doing worse. But other than that, I was still enjoying the levels. I did die in that like checkerboard bit a lot, but I got there in the end. Now, the last 5 levels, I screwed up quite a bit somehow, but especially the last level was really confusing, but I got it in the end. Now let's talk about hard. Alright. It's hard time. Well, there's actually definitely a difficulty spike, I think. I can't really tell while going through the video, but definitely struggled a lot more. More damage bricks, more killed bricks, and also more conveyors. I was pretty worried about those because I suck with conveyor jumps, but it ended up actually being pretty simple. Mainly only like in the later on stages when those happened. I stood here for a solid 2 minutes, so I had to cut out most of it, but I eventually got back to work. Last 3 levels, pretty easy, and now onto difficult. Difficult, oh dear, this was definitely a pain, and took me, I would say like 15 minutes. I'm not certain, I can't exactly remember, but things were definitely getting a lot harder. The only noticeable changes were more death bricks, and a lot more deaths, so let's just say I died a lot on like one of the last levels. I think it was like level 173, from what I remember. That's basically it for difficult. So now let's talk about challenging. Holy crap, were things getting a lot more difficult. I was struggling a lot on the first few levels, and I was really not having a good time on level 193. That took me like 5 minutes. Now that things were getting harder, I was actually starting to enjoy the levels more. Although I was getting pretty mad, I was actually having more fun. There were a few moments where I wanted to quit, but I knew I couldn't. Enough of challenging, let's talk about intense. Alright, now this is where everything went downhill. I was struggling so much that the word give up was literally floating in my mind the entire time. Some of these levels were like insanely difficult, and then all of a sudden they go to something like insanely easy. Like, how does that make any sense? The levels stayed at the same difficulty, but I did actually take a break at one of the levels because I was so mad. But eventually I got the hang of the rest of the levels. Still took me a while, but I got there in the end. Now let's talk about Insane. Oh boy, Insane was not fun. Each level took me like 10 minutes to beat. I don't know why, everything was just so difficult. I mean, some levels were actually a lot easier than others, which was really surprising. Like, one of the levels took me like 5 seconds to beat. I don't know why. But yeah, difficulty wise, this was definitely the hardest tower I could do. On multiple occasions, I got stuck on towers because they were just that difficult. Like level 252, one of the actual levels that took me the longest. I just kept on doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it eventually worked, which I was pretty happy about. But then level 254, that also took me like 10 years to beat, and when I beat it, I was so happy. I couldn't really describe how happy I was. I kind of just gave up for a moment, but then I came back to it like, alright, you know, I got this, I can do this, hopefully, and then I continued on. Other than that, it all went pretty well. But level 258 was another step to just playing it over and over and over again. It took me 15 minutes, I'm guessing, but eventually I got there, continued on with the rest of the levels. They were pretty easy too, but level 263, that took me a long time to do as well. Eventually I got the hang of it, I figured it out. Same thing with level 264. Level 265, so easy. The rest of the levels were like really difficult, but they didn't take that long to beat. As soon as I beat level 269, the finish line was there, well, at least for me. I don't know why that level took me so long to beat, it was just so confusing, but eventually I made it to the end, and I felt a sigh of relief. It was just such a reward to see the door to the next tower. But let's see how that goes. Now, I couldn't actually beat the first level, Extreme. It was way too hard for me. Other than that, I actually enjoyed playing this game. It was really fun, it was really difficult too, but I may come back to this game and beat the last few levels. Now, this is my first time using Premiere Pro, and I'm pretty proud of what I actually ended up making with this program. That's basically all I have to say, but thank you for watching this video, and if you do want to see more content like this that's actually edited and well made, just let me know.